Yes, sir. What is happening? It is Thoughts of a Predicate Winner. Thank you for tuning in to another one of these things. The NBA has somehow become exciting again. It's good basketball. There's a lot of good teams out there. And there's some players that are getting into some shenanigans that I'm not a fan of the shenanigans, but I'm a fan of the player. And for those of you that don't know, last night, the New York Knicks played the Los Angeles Lakers. Both teams are on fire right now. So the Lakers came to the Garden, it's Madison Square Garden in New York. And for those of you that don't know, LeBron is 40 years old, and his son plays on the same team as him, or his son is in the process of being able to play on the same team as him. Now, his son has been getting ridiculed by everybody. First off, I want to say salute to Bronny. Salute to LeBron James. I don't agree with a lot of the stances that LeBron stands on, but I do think he is one of, if not the greatest basketball players to ever walk the face of the earth, probably the. I mean, if we're taking biases aside, I love Michael Jordan, but if I take the bias aside and just look at statistics and look at longevity, it's difficult to take that away from LeBron, in my opinion, right? Now, Stephen A. Smith, which is one of my favorite commentators on earth, he's really good at his job. He's really good at what he does. He's really good on this thing that we call a microphone. One of my role models in this little commentating space. Well, Stephen A. Smith has a job, and his job is to commentate on sports and athletes. LeBron James' son, Bronny, is an athlete. But LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith have obviously formed somewhat of a relationship over the years. And last night, or a couple of nights ago, it wasn't last night, a couple of nights ago at the Garden, LeBron James got in Stephen A. Smith's grill a little bit. And you couldn't really tell what they were saying, but it was a heated conversation. And a lot of people are saying that it had to do with Bronny, all of the lip readers out there. They were saying it had something to do with LeBron James' son. So the question has been posed, is LeBron James in the right for that or in the wrong for that? Is Stephen A. Smith in the right for that, or is he in the wrong for that? So Stephen A. Smith has responded. Let's just go ahead and head over there and see what Stephen A. Smith has to say about the situation.
Take on this Feel Good Friday. Thank you for being with us. Obviously, Stephen A., an incredible game last night in LA. You were in the building, and we'll get to what that means for the Lakers and Knicks in just a moment. But S.A., there was a moment in the game that we want to address.
Here it is.
That was LeBron James coming up to me.
Yeah, that was LeBron James. And he's hot-headed, bro. And he's a very calm, cool, collect guy. So whatever he had going on, I do feel like it does have something to do with this kid. That's the only time that, like, I'm a very calm, cool, collect man. The only time that you'll ever see me looking like that is if you said something about my child, or if you're pressing my family about something, then you're going to see a different side of me. Which we'll get to in a second.
Unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves.
So it was
That's what he was doing.
For sure.
I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why.
Yes, you did.
Is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now.
I do feel like he seems to be a little bit bothered by it. So maybe their relationship that they have formed is, and I'm not going to sit here and act like there's probably not other things that have brought LeBron to that. LeBron is like a hard-fought liberal, right? super weird to me, but it is what it is. And Stephen A. Smith has been very fair. If he is Democratic, he's been very fair walking the line with this whole election, with everything that's been going on. He said a lot of things that kind of blew me away, blew my mind. And he's just very level-headed in his politics, which upsets liberals. If you're not with us, you're against us, is how they feel. Whereas I feel like the majority of conservatives feel like all are welcome. All you got to do is just be nice. I think that the liberal side, those super lefties, are totally different. I think that there's some evil stuff going on over there. But let's get into what Stephen A. says here.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard,
Interesting.
Clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see.
Interesting take here. I was expecting him to, because it's his job to talk about athletes. LeBron James' son is an athlete who is underperforming. It's literally it's his job to talk about these athletes and talk about their performance, to talk about their skill set, to talk about what they bring to the table or don't bring to the table, what they should be bringing to the table. This is all within his rights to discuss these things. So this is interesting. This is interesting for him to say it like this. Like, that wasn't a basketball player that confronted me. That was a parent. He's very understanding here, which is kind of surprising to me.
I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel.
Okay.
What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting.
Okay.
But if we had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James.
He just lost me a little bit. Why would you not speak negatively about his son? Not negatively, but your job is to criticize basketball players, basketball, sports, football, whatever. Your job is to criticize athletes and their abilities. So I'm going to be honest. It's very, and I'm going to give y'all my take here in a second, but it's shocking to hear how understanding he is, but also he's losing me a little bit here because you should be of the opinion that you should be able to say whatever you want to say. You're Stephen A. Smith. I don't know.
I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James.
Okay.
I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him.
100.
I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad. Because LeBron James has been on the record, and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, et cetera, et cetera. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. In the aftermath of all of that, he instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be.
Which is what every father would do. Every father would do this. Because we love our kids and we want to see them succeed. Whether right or wrong, we all look at our kids like they're more superior than they actually probably are. But if you believe in your kid and you believe your kid to be champion athlete level, I also think that LeBron is doing the right thing by, hey, stay in the D League, wait until you're ready, and then you're coming up here with me. We're gonna get this ball rolling.
I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point,
which is dope,
months ago,
we've never seen it before.
That's because of who you are. One of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation. There's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that.
Come on.
For his son. And when he talked like that,
that's real.
And what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James.
That's facts.
Because of his dad. And that's when I was talking about, come on, man. This is the situation that you're putting him in. That's where facts. I was coming from.
That's facts. But Stephen A., that is still LeBron's son and LeBron's choice. And when you start talking to parents about the way they parent and the way they move as a parent, it does strike a little bit of a nerve. I'm gonna get to my take here in a second.
I could be a bit more outspoken about it, but to be quite honest with you, to be in that moment, to have LeBron look at me the way that he did, for me to be a father of 2 daughters, for me to know what fathers, how much love fathers have for their children, and to hear what he had to say, it was all about his son. It was almost as if he was saying, you know, you and I, because he and I don't necessarily vibe, it's high and by, we keep it moving. Neither of us lose sleep over it, and it's been that way for years. But it was like he was saying, keep that between me and you. Almost as if he was thinking that anything that I said about Bronny was a result of him. And in that situation, again, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was really, really talking about him. Okay. Because of the position that
I've heard enough. All right, let's chat about this for just a second. All right, I'm going to give you my take on this and what I believe. All right, so on one hand, we got Stephen A. Smith, who has made a career and become a legend in the game of commentary in sports, who has the right, by proxy, to be able to say whatever he wants to say about any athlete that plays on a professional level or a D-League level. However, most commentators don't discuss D-League level athletes, which is where Bronny is right now. So even the discussion of Bronny James is really only coming off the heels of his father's legacy. All right. So on one end, I believe that Stephen A. Smith has every right to discuss whatever he wants to about sports. That is Stephen A. Smith. on the other hand, strip away LeBron James, strip away all the attributes, and strip away the legacy. If you're talking about my kid, I'm going to say something. Now, LeBron didn't intend on this to go public. That's why he wanted to meet with him right there in that very moment. He had something to say. He said it quick, and he got up out of there. I imagine it went along something like this. Hey, keep my name and my kid's name separate. Keep my kid's name out your mouth. Don't talk about my kid in a disrespectful manner. What are you doing? We're supposed to have some kind of level of respect here, which I understand as a father. My daughter plays softball. She plays it exceptionally well. I think that my daughter is probably more exceptional than she actually is, but I see my daughter as a superstar, exceptional softball player. If someone wanted to talk about my daughter negatively, another man, I might add, another father, I might add, I'm going to confront you. Even if your job is to commentate on travel ball, right? Let's say that that's it. Like your job is to critique travel ball. And you say something negative about my daughter. This is just where I'm at. I come from the school of, the code of, we don't talk about wives, we don't talk about mothers, we don't talk about children. If your wife is out here acting crazy, I will normally leave something like that out of the discussion. If your kids are out here doing something crazy, I don't have no hatred towards your kids if I got some kind of an issue with you. If your mama is out here acting crazy, I'm not going to go and disrespect your mother just because I have a problem with you. If I have a problem with you, even in my street days, and I see you in the streets and you're with your mom or you're with your kids or you're with your girl or your wife, I'm going to leave you alone. That's the code that I come from. So I will say, as a father, I understand. I understand what LeBron was doing there. But as a commentator, somebody that gets on this microphone myself, I also understand Stephen A. Smith's side. So this is kind of a tough one. It's a tough one to kind of, because you know what we do on the interview. We all want to, you know what we do on the internet. We all want to pick a side and we all want to choose a side and we all have our belief systems on what's right versus what's wrong. And we like to join a team and join a squad and get with other people that feel the same way as us. But I'm going to leave y'all split decisioned here, man. As a father, I totally understand this. And as a commentator, I totally understand this. I think Stephen A. Smith does his job exceptionally well, better than anybody else. And I think that he reserves the right to say whatever he wants to say about whoever he wants to talk about. I think that LeBron James is an exceptional dad who has done exceptional things to raise an exceptional family, and he reserves the right to demand respect. He does. He reserves that right. If you're not going to respect my family line, leave his name out your mouth. You know how much work I had to put in to get my boy up on this level, even on a D-League level? And y'all want to talk about him? Now, I'm just going to be honest. The skill set and the delivery of Bronny has been underwhelming. That's why he has been such a discussion as of late, as of this season, because it's been underwhelming. He was the 52nd pick or whatever. And LeBron said that he did say that, you know, my son can wipe the floor with all these guys, which he can't do yet. So I think what Stephen A. Smith was trying to say there was, listen, that might not be the best move, bro. You're the greatest player to ever play basketball, and you're kind of setting him up for failure in this regard. And I'm telling you that in all fairness as a commentator, like, hey, I'm really talking about you, dog. Like, not him. Like, he's fine. He's going to be all right. He's going to figure his way. But maybe you shouldn't be, you know, trying to drive home this point like he's the next version of you when he isn't ready for that, you know? But I also feel like LeBron deserves or reserves the right to be able to combat that. I do. So I'm going to be honest, as a father of 2 beautiful baby girls, I stand more with LeBron on this than I do Stephen A. But I'm split because I do understand Stephen A's side of things too. But I also understand as a commentator, we also have the ability to instigate without letting people know that we're actually instigating. I do it all the time, and I'm low tier, low level. I don't have any kind of skill set in this game. I just started about 8 months ago, and I already know how to do that. Stephen A. Smith has been doing this for 20 years plus, probably close to 30 years. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to instigate. He knows how to drive his point home without making it look vicious. He knows how to make you think that he is sincere when he's feeling malicious. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing here. I'm just saying that he has the ability to do so. I do it. So, shout out to both of these gentlemen. In hopes, my hope here is that they can come back together and get along and not. I don't want to see them in this weird beef. Like, I don't want to see that scuffle, especially with LeBron on his exit. I would like to see, because, bro, I know LeBron's politics are trash, but I want, if you take that away and just look at his ability to play the game of basketball and always being compared to Michael Jordan, I think that it would be super special if all the commentators could come together and just appreciate this season that he's playing, because he's doing triple doubles. He's averaging more than 20 points a game. He's playing his heart out. He just got Luka over there on the Lakers. They're looking good. He might go on to win a couple of more championships before he heads out. He looks great. He looks better than half the people out there playing basketball, so there's no reason for him to stop. And I just think that what we're witnessing with LeBron is a super, super special basketball player. And if you like basketball and you enjoy watching it, I think that we should all just appreciate what we're watching here in the same way that we watched Tiger win that last Masters that he won. You know what I mean? Just appreciate what you're watching. And shout out to Stephen A. Smith. Shout out to LeBron James. And thank you guys for watching, man. But that's my take. I'm just kind of split down the middle. And make sure to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. Thank you for all the super chats and the super thanks. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for the Cash App tips. I appreciate y'all. It's the best way to help this channel grow. And we're going to keep on growing it, baby. I'll see y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.